Mission and vision. Your mission is to promote hope, recovery, resilience, quality of life, and wellness in Washtenaw County by providing high-quality, integrated services to eligible individuals. Your vision is that all residents can secure supports to pursue recovery, improve quality of life, and reach their full potential.
My son is 39 years old and has an intellectual disability, autism, ADHD, and significant behavioral issues. He also has severe Crohn's disease, which nearly cost him his life 6 years ago when it was first discovered. He lives in the community with 24-hour CLS staff who help him do all his activities of daily living, shop, cook, laundry, and administer his 6 medications 4 times a day. The staff help him do volunteer work, participate in recreational activities, and socialize with his friends. His life is inclusive and independent from mine. It is truly meaningful and dignified, and he is a happy member of our community. He is also a taxpayer. He will not reliably look both ways before crossing the street. Because he has staff, he is safe and healthy. He lives the life he chooses, just as you and I do. He is an important member of our community, and taking away his staff or decreasing his services would put his life in danger. It would certainly contribute to a downward spiral of undesirable and unsafe behavior. Let me be clear. Forcing him to move out of his home or live with less support than he needs would be an assault on his humanity and an infringement on his civil rights. Thank you.
Our son requires staffing and support to keep him safe and alive. My wife, his mother, recently passed away from a sudden illness. If it wasn't for the support, our son, grief-stricken and confused, was on the verge of having his life slip away as well. Continue to live day-to-day, a day-to-day battle to ensure the support for his life. So as I ask,
She want a home of self-determination and the supports that our daughter needs with the ability to hire staff that she likes and trusts. She needs assistance to do her grocery shopping and occasional assistance in meal preparation due to severe intentional hand tremors. She needs assistance in reminding and routine household care. She will need transportation to doctor's appointments. She relishes her social activities and uses CLS services to access these. CLS has been and will be her lifeline. Once her dad and I are gone, our daughter will have no relatives in the area.
A 23-year-old son. He has Down syndrome and is on the autistic spectrum. He has been receiving CMH services since 2013. I am here today to ask the board not to cut funding to important services to the most vulnerable individuals in our community.
Community living services are used to increase or maintain personal self-sufficiency, facilitating an individual's achievement of his goals of community inclusion and participation, independence, and productivity, and staff assistance with preserving health and safety of an individual in order that he or she may reside or be supported in the most integrated independent community setting. You will be eliminating this most basic social safety net. Your decision will risk health and safety in future and further marginalize people with disabilities, denying them full participation in our state's political, economic, and social life.
Math. If she lets go to my stepson will lose her job and I will have to stay in my house all day. I'm worried. I do not know why you are thinking it too. It's good to take stress hours. Help me figure out. I do not want to stay in my house all day. Please do not stop CLS. Thank you for your time.
There's not a lot of attention brought to issues having to do with developmental disabilities on this board. There's not a lot of time spent on it.
He's 18 currently, has an undiagnosed genetic disorder, autism, and is severely mentally impaired. He's about an 18-month level. Nonverbal, incontinent. really a lot of needs. So difference in our lives. Now my son takes advantage of the CLS hours, which has given us time to because my husband is gone for work multiple days in a row, and it's given me time to just breathe and take care of my daughter, who is 11, who has ADHD and has lots of issues with her schoolwork. For me to be able to be with her as well. Now, my son also takes advantage of ABA services, and yes, he is an elderly, 18-year-old, which a lot of people feel like ABA does not benefit kids that are in that age group, but he has had so much difference in his life since then. I can't tell you. I mean, he used to target me and pull my hair and hit me, and it was so hard to deal with that. Now the ABA services has worked with his behaviors, and he does not attack me. He does not. I simply say no when he comes at me, and he walks away. He has also been able to communicate with pictures with us, and I can't tell you again how much that benefits him and the frustration and the behaviors that he has to deal with, because he can actually tell us what he wants. And it has made such a difference with us, and still a progress, and he's still doing so good. I would just hate to see any of that go away. It really has made such a difference in our life. So please think about that.
Thank you.
I am a mom of 3 disabled children. Their ages are 21, 18, and 11. My 3 children have multiple impairments. They are nonverbal, so they are extremely vulnerable. And these services make them successful. It's to a detriment to take those services away from them. I am one person. They live in my household. They are wonderful boys, wonderful. And we fight so hard to get these services. We fight to maintain the services, just to sometimes lose the services. And it's not at anything that we're doing. It's at people making decisions who do not have vested interest in our kids' lives, who do not come into our kids' lives and see what we have to do, what we have to put up with. I do take a look at the whole child, take a look at the whole situation before you look at taking services. And please don't take the services. We need these services. We really do, and our kids do. It's all about the kids' success.
All ICW residents receive CLS hours. These service hours are critical to the well-being of these individuals, let alone the very independence that their families have worked to establish for them. The families of these disabled residents are taxpayers and voters. We expect more leadership and creative thinking from our public officials, this board, and the County Board of Commissioners in the resolution of the financial issues at community level.
On behalf of our handicapped daughter, who is 53 years old, she's quadriplegic and has mental retardation, and she lives with us or her sister now for her 53 years. Instead of a group home setting, we provide Gay with food, housing, and a van. So this is not only the very best life for her, it has also saved the system tens of thousands of dollars over the years. Around we go again. Take the most vulnerable people, cut the funding and programs that keep them in the most and least restrictive environment in their community.
My son, Derek, is 35. He has autism, severe cognitive impairment. We've benefited from CLS since he was 26. We've had the support of some pretty good staff. Didn't sleep at all, and slept 3 or 4 hours, broken sleep. My anxiety was so bad that I lost 25 pounds in 6 weeks. I was clenching my teeth. I broke a tooth and had to get a root canal. My husband he took took over the night hours because he knew I couldn't handle it. And in January, he was at the bank, passed out. They called 911, and he spent the day at the hospital. It was exhaustion. So we asked for increased hours so that we could get some night hours, so we could get some sleep at least a night or two a week. And that was provided, and it's been helpful. Derek has improved. I'm going to be 60, my husband's 61, and we can't do this without staff, and Derek needs it. His happiness, his quality of life depends on CLS.
Significant. She's nonverbal, her mobility is very limited with a walker, usually a wheelchair for distances. She needs help with everything 24 hours a day. In light of community living supports are critical, and the stories you're hearing are stories that we all live, and we could not have jobs ourselves, we could not have lives ourselves. I literally, to have to maintain those supports and services seems absolutely ridiculous. We have to keep in charge of what we know is best for our citizens, and if any one of us became disabled, what would we want for ourselves?
I'm the mom of an 11-year-old who has autism and a rare form of epilepsy called Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. His syndrome means that he's up all night making banging noises a lot of nights. He functions on toddler level. He needs constant watching. We haven't got community living services up and running yet, but we're hoping to soon. We have some excellent babysitters, but watching him is really hard. And my kids, I have 3 kids. Their father died 5 years ago, so I'm a single parent, and I've got this giant toddler. He's 11 now, so he's going to be bigger than me. He's violent. He functions on toddler level.
We're older. When we die, what happens to our kids? What it's like to live our lives. And the only thing I can say is perhaps some of you have parents or grandparents that have had Alzheimer's. And of course, that's blasted everywhere. And it is a tragedy for 5 years, 7 years, whatever. We have children for decades. We love our children, decades. We can call them autistic, developmentally disabled, but I think for you to relate to this would have to think about having a parent with Alzheimer's who cannot take a shower by themselves. My daughter cannot. 24 hours. I can count on 2 hands, that would be 10 times over 18 years, how many times I've slept through the night. That is what my life is like in the most vulnerable population. My daughter could walk away with a stranger tomorrow. My daughter can super glue her mouth, and she has. So we are on hypervigilance. What about the impact on our other children? What about that I have a 95-year-old mother, I'm responsible for her house as well. So to have funding away from our children, appalling.
My name's Amanda. I'm 16. I have a 18-year-old brother named Jared. It's just sad that he is gonna lose the stuff he needs to be able to succeed in his own life. That's all I have to say.
Share the common theme that these supports can be a life or death matter, and our most vulnerable family members deserve the attention a caring community should provide. He was subsequently diagnosed with cerebral palsy, a spinal instability, and autism, all while in preschool. Agitated catatonia and epilepsy were added in his teen years. Of course, I had stopped working when Peter was born because he required so much care. Personal independence, learning street safety, following directions, social interactions in the community, leisure and fitness activities, trying different things so Peter has ways to fill his own time other than playing games on an electronic device. Increasing his basic knowledge, some academic skills like reading and writing in a safe and meaningful way beyond the hours in school. And in a few years, he won't even have school. Without CLS hours, we would again be financially overextended and constantly fatigued by the demands of being full-time caregivers. Unable to let him out of sight. 22 years of raising a toddler is pretty tough, especially when he's now taller than I am. I just had a total hip replacement 3 weeks ago. Thankfully, our CLS hours were increased for 2 months while I'm unable to help Peter because I can't possibly meet the physical demands. Having others be responsible for Peter makes my recovery possible. I don't know what we would do without this help. CLS is a lifeline for us, not a luxury. Please don't make the future impossible for Peter and others like him.
is 18 and has been diagnosed with severe autism. He's about toddler 18-month level, nonverbal. We do a lot of support on our own. You know, these kids have been moved out of, these people have been moved out of institutions. Well, you move the chains and the bars to our homes. That's what you're hearing from us. You know, my wife plays hockey, my daughter plays hockey. They go out, I stay home with Jared. I don't have a hobby. My hobby is my son, because I don't have a choice. My wife goes out and gets the groceries. She goes shopping, gets all the clothes. I stay home. CLS is critical. ABA is critical. One thing that hasn't been brought up here and is a challenge to you to go the opposite direction. Don't cut our funds, give us more. We don't even use all our CLS dollars. We can't use our CLS hours because we can't find staff, because we can't find people to work to do what we need for our kids at $12 an hour. It's ridiculous. Look around at the job market. McDonald's, everybody else, every place you see help wanted signs. There's a shortage of people. And you know what? You can't just take anybody and put them into our houses. I've had so many people come in and apply for a job to come in and work with our son downstairs with his pants in his hand. They're gone. You know, he poops on the toilet, not in the toilet, on the toilet. They're gone. You know, and that's not even counting the day when he gets a little upset and decides, oh, it's time to pinch or punch or be a little bit violent. I'm not talking bad violence, just that's what autistic kids do. Okay? We all know. Everyone here. He's 18. I'm 62. I'm not going to be here to take care of him. I would like to actually retire and have some life. The funding for that is CLS. That funding for him to have a life, to live on his own, to be a person on his own, has to come from you. Thank you.
So this is my son. His name is Alex. He's 28 years old. And forgive me, but I might use the whole 3 minutes to cry because I am heartbroken that we're all vulnerable. It's not just our children. We are so connected to them that their lives are our lives. We're exhausted. We are constantly being picked at by every little cut. You guys have, I mean, I don't know if you have any ideas. Maybe you do. Maybe you do. And if you do, I feel for you. Because I feel for me. And I feel for every single person in this room. My son is not a poster child for some great financial investment. I get that. I've gotten that forever. And so it is very hard when we're supposed to make some sort of fiscally logical argument that you should support him and every other person that's been talked about here. There really aren't. He's a poster child for the heart of our society. He is the poster child for having just some compassion for how exhausted we are. He doesn't sleep. He sleeps. He sleeps every once in a while at night. I take care of him. I'm up 3 times if I'm lucky. 3 times. I literally just don't have it in me to do what community living support people do. That's what gets cut out of my life. I don't have the ability to take him out into the community. I've made these cards for him so he can talk to people. I don't have the energy. Okay, what card? Like, I'm so tired. We're all so tired. We need the village mentality. It takes a village. But we aren't raising our children like they're going to go off somewhere else. This is it. This is the village. So please, I get you got cut stuff. But I was thinking, here's an analogy. It's like a hospital saying, you know what? The cost of nurses is too damn expensive. We should just cut them all out. That's not how this works. The CLS, and I don't know about ABA for other people, but this is the essential ingredient of the whole freaking house of cards that we live in. So for you to just think you can just pull that out and somehow any of us survive, I really don't get how you think that's going to happen. But that's why I'm here. So That's why we're all here, and none of us have the time to do this. My son has 6 hours away from me, and this is what I have to do, so I have to still take care of him while that's all I get is his 6-hour break, and I'm using it for this. It's exhausting, and we've been doing it for 28 years. Please, give us a freaking break.
They're wonderful, wonderful men now, but they're men. And I still need to shower my man, going on 20 years old. I need to, help him with his hygiene, one of them, after he has a bowel movement. And there's no end in sight. This has been 18 years, we're going on. And just to know, so I just turned 50, my husband's 54, to know that there's just no end. Finding people to actually provide the CLS services is next to impossible. People just don't call back. They don't, and it's usually when they find out what it pays. And because of the type and difficulty, as families too are thinking, okay, we're gonna die someday. Where do they go? So we just don't feel like they're entitled to the right to die either. Funding for us and for our young men is going to make or break the whole world. And the thought of that going away and not being able to try to strategize and plan for them is just devastating. They can't.
Why do other counties, other CMHs are allowed to pay higher rates, but we have almost the highest cost of living in the state, and yet I hear somebody in the Upper Peninsula, their rate is like $8 an hour higher than ours. Why is that? Why can't we pay the right rate for our area? And then finally, I actually submitted myself to become a board member for CMH, and I know Bob Pierce did as well. And I didn't get called, I didn't get even interviewed or anything. I don't understand how the people are selected for CMH boards, especially for the consumer positions. It seems like we have a lot of county commissioners on this board, but are there people here strictly for the consumers, to be the advocate for the consumers?
All families, and I work at a guardianship office, so those people do not have anybody. I listen to what you guys are saying, and the people that I work for don't have you guys even. They just have our office. I am a social worker, and then they have their CLS staff, and their CLS staff are who make it happen for them. If they did not have CLS staff, they would be out on the streets, I guarantee you, because mental disabilities, but they also have mental illnesses, schizophrenia. I get phone calls in the middle of the night helping those CLS staff manage those behaviors. Those behaviors are managed by the help that they get from the services at CMH. And if they did not have those, they would not have anybody, because they don't have families. They count on those people, and they take them to medical appointments. They help let me know if they need to have managed care, like going out to get dental appointments, eye appointments, CPAPs. They make sure those are used properly. They help them with grocery shopping, managing their money so that they can have enough groceries to shop, because they're managing ones that make the difference for these people that I am working with. And I tell you what, I am their family, along with the CLS staff. They are their family too, and if they did not have those people, they would have nobody.
Community Living Supports provides the supports needed for people with developmental disabilities to be fully included in their community, and jobs for community mental health employees. These are people's lives. Denial of services will cause harm and even death, not just a service warranty problem or denial of overtime.